Top 6 mountains to visit on Earth. If you've never been on a mountain, it may seem overwhelming to think of the various peaks, but there are so many of them to choose from. These are the top mountains to visit on Earth, from mountains alone above the clouds to those surrounded by cities. A visit to any of these places will leave you with a lasting impression and inspire you to climb mountains yourself. Whether you're an adventurer or not, these mountains are worth the trip. Mount Fuji. Climbing Mount Fuji is an incredible experience. Although it's not technically challenging, the climb is highly dangerous, particularly due to its fierce winds and fickle weather. The altitude and weather can make the summit of the mountain dangerous, and there have been casualties. Last year, over 300,000 trekkers attempted the mountain. Of these, 29 suffered accidents and were rescued after having heart attacks. In the early 1990s, raw sewage from mountain outhouses was dumped down the rock face, leaving a stinking trail behind. Now, the Mount Fuji Club was founded in 1998 and conducts cleanup campaigns. The group has up to 16,000 volunteers who volunteer for periodic all-day efforts. Its most recent cleanup campaign, in 2014, saw up to 70 tons of debris hauled away. It also helped clean up a lake known as Kawaguchiko, which is a part of the Fuji Five Lakes region. Mount Everest. The most famous mountain in the world is Mount Everest, at 8,850 meters above sea level. Located in Nepal and Tibet, the mountain is one of the world's highest peaks. The base camp is in Nepal, while mountaineers train for years in preparation. The best months to climb Mount Everest are April and June. Other excellent months to visit the mountain include September and November. As the highest peak on Earth, Mount Everest has a harsh climate. During the spring and summer seasons, the average daytime temperature is about -2 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the summit is so high, that temperatures may drop as low as -76 degrees Fahrenheit in January. Because of its high altitude, the mountain is buffeted by winds of up to 100 miles per hour. In addition, the climate is so cold that life is difficult and even deadly. Kilimanjaro. The summit of Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest mountain, stands at 5,895 meters and 4,900 meters from its base. It has 3 volcanic cones, Kibo being the highest, and Mwenzi and Shira dormant. Scientists have estimated that the last eruption was 360,000 years ago. Today, Mount Kilimanjaro is a popular hiking and climbing destination. In the past, it was the subject of scientific studies. Today, there are multiple routes to the summit, making it easy to find the right one for you. Africa's Mount Kilimanjaro is Africa's highest mountain, covered in snow and glaciers. Every year, more than 30,000 people attempt to scale Kilimanjaro. It is the world's highest freestanding mountain and is popular with mountaineers and charity groups. You can choose from one of 6 hiking routes to the summit. Although the Marangu route is the most difficult, Lemosho and Shira offer scenic hikes and less technical climbs. Corcovado. You might not think of a mountain as a place where you should spend an entire day, but you might be surprised to learn that Corcovado is a very difficult hike. After a short river crossing, the trail begins to climb the spine of the mountain. Some areas require hand climbing while others are very steep. But the views are worth it, and you will never regret visiting Corcovado. If you're going to climb Corcovado, make sure you have a guide, and consider hiring one. There are several options for lodging within the park. You can stay at a hostel, a dorm at a ranger station, or a luxury jungle lodge. The cost of accommodation is around $10 per day, and guides will help you navigate the forest and the mountain. Leyla Peak. The rocky, glacier-covered peak of Leyla is located in the Andes region in Italy. A British expedition first reached the summit of Leyla Peak in 1987. A Swedish team tried to ski Leyla in 2005 but turned back 100 meters short of the summit. In 2016, an Italian team attempted the climb but Leonardo Camelli died when he slipped on the traverse. Later, the French team, led by Carole Chamberet, Tiffaine Dupérier, and Boris Langenstein, summited Leyla Peak. The Leyla Peak expedition begins with a briefing session by the Ministry of Tourism in Pakistan. The trip starts at the Hushay Valley, located in the Karakoram Mountains. The trek to the summit of Leyla Peak is approximately a week long and involves an ascent and descent of the mountain. It has a 45 to 50 degree pitch and reaches 4,500 feet in elevation. The summit resembles a giant spear. Cerro Torre. Atop the iconic Cerro Torre, the Italian mountaineer Giuliano Giongo first saw a star on the summit. He first thought his eyes were playing tricks, but soon called for his team to come and witness the breathtaking spectacle. Today, Cerro Torre remains one of the top mountains to visit on Earth. You can hike the infamous compressor route, which starts at 4,300 meters and climbs to the top of Cerro Torre. 2 years ago, the film, Cerro Torre, was screened in Roots Rated. I met David Putcher at an event, and we talked about his expedition to Cerro Torre. His filming process was heavily influenced by Putcher's experience, and the filming team had to adapt their plans to accommodate him. For those who are hesitant about climbing Cerro Torre, I encourage you to consider a guided tour if you're considering a trip.